Texas has decided to work with Elon Musk in the human trafficking situation. Like, Texas was already a really, really bad trafficking state, but then as soon as Elon moved here, they made pot like way more illegal than it ever was. Because pot is almost like an anti-human trafficking substance, whereas all the other substances are pro-human trafficking and pro-crisis, pro-prostitution and pro-sex trafficking. Pot kind of throws a wrench in all that. It's not that people don't want the pot, because in all reality, most of the people who are users really want the pot. They want the pot more than everything else. But because our nation is run by traffickers, they like to play around with whether or not weed is legal and in which states it's going to be legal. And then a state like Texas just went back towards the dark ages rather than evolving into a place where marijuana is legal the way that it should be in every state. Texas decided to take several steps back, and has completely stunted itself by doing so. And they only did that right after Elon Musk came and began to live here. As I said, Texas is already a huge human trafficking state. It's been a crisis for a very long time. Texas was hit really hard by methamphetamines. So, it works out for law enforcement and for everyone else that everyone out here is hooked on meth really bad, and that all of the women are, prostitutes and really easy and stuff. It works out. It works out for everyone. What doesn't work out for everyone is, when one of those people who are being sex trafficked or, forced into prostitution or forced into drug addiction, when they find some pot and they're able to actually get real, true relief. None of the human traffickers who run the state of Texas want that at all. And that's something that even is discussed in the Epstein files, that the molesters and the human traffickers, they weren't really into trafficking people and hurting people who were pot users. Because the weed users were a little bit smarter, they were a little bit more aware, and they would find relief in their pot smoke rather than staying at an extreme fear level and allowing themselves to be taken advantage of and terrorized and just forced into such a traumatic terror response that there would be basically no way for them to survive anymore. It's really some extreme things that they do to American civilians and to civilians all over the world, as no one is interested in ending the global child trafficking and global human trafficking ring. So Texas is one of the states that has chosen to coddle Elon Musk and to coddle the human traffickers here, and to help all them out by continuing to make pot illegal and even making even heavier, more stringent rules and laws against marijuana, which, as I said, takes us backwards in time to a more ignorant time frame rather than moving forward in history, to the place where we would need to be at a level-headed, educated, place. That Texas is apparently not interested in being level-headed or educated or responsible in any way as far as that goes. They would rather their civilians just completely trash their real estate here with their drug and alcohol abuse, and their prostitution and their partying. Texas loves for all of the houses in all of their cities to just turn to complete trash. They like that all of their civilians get all strung out on meth and speed. They like that all the business owners are all strung out in, cartels and mafia and everything else. They need for the civilians to be heavily dependent on the drugs provided to them, but not weed, because weed would actually help the situation, and it would bring down the agony and the despair and the aggression and the darkness. Yeah, it most certainly would. But that's not what the people in charge want, because they need to be able to traffic all these civilians and to drive them into the worst despair ever. There's absolutely nothing criminal about having pot or smoking pot. The fact that you guys decided that it's a crime is retarded. It's absolutely retarded. Honestly, I feel like it's a form of torture to tell civilians that they're not allowed to smoke pot. That's cruel and unusual, especially coming from different states where pot is completely legal and it's perfectly okay to go into a store and buy it. Yeah, it's really weird to go to the state directly next door and have everyone scared to death of pot. Oh my god. And have everyone just terrified, and everyone just so worried that someone might have pot or be smoking pot. It's almost like they're so worried about you using pot that they put it like on a level above heroin and all that. I mean, whatever you do, don't catch a buzz and find relief. Cool, yeah, and they think that they can replace actual marijuana with this hemp stuff. So they've got these weird pre-roll hemp things, and they've got these like little jars that are like pretty hemp, little purple hemp nuggets and weird stuff like that, and that's supposed to be what we're supposed to smoke here instead. Some THCA or CBD or Delta 8 or whatever tiny little part of a marijuana cannabinoid plant. It's like this tiny little part that they think that they're allowed to extract, and where they think that they're allowed to hybridize it to where it has that one thing in it. It only has like 3 things in it, but you lose all of the medicinal value, and you're not actually smoking the right plant, because hemp isn't the pot bud. It's not the same plant, so you're not really going to get the same medicinal benefits from it. It actually hurts us a little bit. It's a really harsh feeling. There's a reason why we were smoking the pot and not the hemp to begin with. Like, I appreciate Texas's agriculture thing about the hemp. That's really cool. I could fucking care less though, because I actually need the weed, and I wipe my ass with your hemp. For real. It's fucking retarded. So, Texas doesn't allow marijuana use here because they want for the females to be at a really high stress level, and they need for females to be pushed into prostitution and sex trafficking, and to be exploited, and to just hand themselves over for things like heroin and methamphetamines and cocaine and fentanyl. And if people have pot to fall back on, it makes it to where there's a temporary replacement and temporary relief for the hard drugs that Texas apparently wants you to use, and they wouldn't want you to have any alternative to their dangerous and deadly, very strong hard drugs that they've made available to the public. So while everyone around me is getting straight fucked up, getting fucked the fuck up on alcohol, every other room is someone who's drunk off their ass every fucking single night, way drunker than I can ever remember getting. And everybody I meet throughout my home city here is addicted to methamphetamines. And everybody's selling their asses for it, and the guys are hunting down anyone who will sell their ass for it. And everybody's allowed to get fucked up and shoot shit up into their veins and get drunk and do lines and, you know, sell themselves and smoke crack and do heroin and everything else. But if I want to catch a buzz, I have to go over here to Headhunters and get a pre-roll for $5.99 that I will barely catch a buzz off of. And trust me, I definitely need a buzz sometimes, just like anyone else, especially after everything that you guys have done, completely diminishing my quality of life, kidnapping my children, forcing them into slavery, sending my youngest kid to the very same people who exploited him online. There's kind of a lot going on, and meanwhile, there's no one for me to tell other than YouTube, because no one else gives a fuck. The cops don't want to fucking hear it. I still have a shitload of information to hand over to the police, and they know that, and they're not interested in taking my information because they want to protect sex traffickers and child molesters instead, because they're fucking human traffickers. So I'm now in Texas, and I've been here for like a month or a little longer. I don't even fucking know anymore. And I'm just basically surrounded by human traffickers in this state, and everyone wants to act like everyone wants to act like they can't find any pot, and that no one's got any pot. No one smokes pot here. They just drink and do meth. So yeah, and I'm not about to drink and do meth with them just because there's no pot. Like, trust me, I'll see pot again someday, even if I have to leave this nasty sex trafficking state to find it. And I don't, because I still see it every few days or whatever. It's just aggravating that I only see this much of it every few days, and I know that people make sure of that. And that's one of the ways that that people think that they're controlling me here and stuff, is making sure that everyone around me that I speak to looks at me like I'm fucking stupid, and that everyone acts like they can't fucking help me with a thing. And I guess they thought that I would just evaporate and die just because they want to all act like that, but they don't realize, I guess, that everyone acts like that to me everywhere I go since I was sold into slavery to Elon Musk. Which means that, yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. So yeah, this is my birth state and my birth city, and it's completely overrun by meth, which is exactly the way the cops want it. It's exactly the way that the governor and the mayor and the senators here and everybody wants it. Because their new daddy, their new lord, Elon Musk, moved in, and he doesn't want pot to be legal here. So, and neither does anybody else, I guess. Yep, they just want these women to sell themselves all day long for meth. They don't want anybody to have any weed. Yeah.